Today we are answering the question that you all want to know. What are the pull rates of the combined World Reavers Descent and Dominion of Darkness combined booster set? Welcome to another Shadowverse Evolve box opening video, again provided to us by Booster themselves. Today we're going to put to the test and see what the pull rates are actually like. They made an official statement saying that they will be buffed in order to make, account for the fact that two different sets are merged into one. And there's still, as you can see, only 12 packs per box. So today Bouchard sent us two boxes to open up for you guys and take a look at what the pull rates look like. Again, these are set 12 and set 13 combined into one. Support for a lot of Natra and Machina, as well as the Velsar set from original Shadowverse as well, including popular cards like Sekka, that of course were quite strong at the time also in Japan, of course, when it came out too. There's also, of course, the entire Levin, archetype in this set as well. One of my favorite characters from the Cygames universe, other than Galmu, Lisha. She was technically there since Rage of Bahamut, and that was actually my first ever Japanese mobile game. Can you believe that? There's also new Daria in here, and she's quite good for the Spellcaster deck. Forest gets a lot of good support in this set, not just thanks to Sekka, but also the new Arya, and also a lot of support for Mysteria, and also just in general, like a lot of really good stuff for Forest. I feel like Forest going forward would be quite good. And then, of course, as a box topper, we have a bonus pack with 1 of 10 possible cards. So let's open that up first and see what we have. So no sleeves this time around. Let's take a look. See if we get a happy surprise. Nope, it is not a leader. So not the kind of surprise you'd expect. Well, let's take a look at what we have. We have the Carbuncle's Sparkle, the token. So it's the foil version of the Carbuncle Sparkle. The Carbuncle itself is a card in the set that gives you this token that either lets you return a follower on the field or heal your leader 4 or draw 2 cards. So pretty good little token here. I will zoom in a bit further and let's take a look and see what we have in this set. And again, typically from past sets, you'd get 4 to 5 legendaries, usually including the confirmed SL. Let's take a look and see how it adds up. So it does say BP 13 and then BP 12. So the numbering is still the same as like the original sets, right? So it does say BB12 and BB13 on the actual original cards, but I'm curious to see. We have a Fairy Wisp token in the middle of the pack. Not used to seeing that too much, but let's keep on going. God's Loving Smite. Can a smite be loving? I guess more deep questions to be found on this channel. We have 2 golds, Westminster Abbey and Seraphic Blade. I mean, nothing too new. We definitely have had 2 golds before. Ooh, Linkstuff Necromancer. She was very big menace in original app Shadowverse, that's for sure. Seraphic Blade is a pretty good goal to get. Lets you to, choose an effect. One of them is to destroy a 2-cost or lower enemy card on the field. Can be also an amulet. And the second one is you pay 2 and you select an enemy card that costs 6 or less and destroy it. So 4 to destroy 6 or 2 to destroy a 2 or lower, basically. So moving forward, I'm assuming we're going to have a lot of golds. Usually get just a bit more golds than there are packs in a box, so let's see how that's going to change here. Turquoise Sister Ghoul buries another departed to draw 2 cards and discard 1. Very strong card, honestly. Liberté evolves for 1. Arbiter, ooh, we have our SL. It is the Jatalant. So the SL, of course, with the beautiful border that Japan did not have yet at this time. Only started having it from BP16. 6 cost 5/5 that lets you banish 2 amulets from your cemetery and then banish an enemy follower and deal 3 damage to his leader and heal your leader 3. And if you bury an amulet once per turn, you can summon a Haven follower or amulet that costs 3 or less from your hand for free. So pretty good card just for accelerating, your board basically, while also getting rid of your opponent's followers by banishing from cemetery. So it's not even from field, which is quite good. So pretty decent SL to get. We have Gazelle. There's a lot of marine support in this set too, so that's cool. All right, so far every pack has had we had a 2 gold pack and then a legend or SL plus a gold. Let's see how that keeps going. Also, I completely missed out on Chaos Wielders Evolve here, so another pretty cool card for mages. Sanguine Necklace, 1 cost that buries itself to deal damage to your leader and draw a card. We've got a case. It declares any card name, reveals top card of your deck. If it has the name, you draw 2. If not, you draw 1. So you draw 1 regardless, which is pretty nice. Dragoon Medic, Sunbright Elf, Hellfire Hound. Okay, we have another legendary, Ship's Bane Plesiosaurus. This is from set 12. So you can see here, set 13 for the SL, set 12 for the legendary. So this is support for, of course, Natra Dragon. Quite a good support. Lets you banish an Terra Great Tree from hand on Fanfare to draw a card. And whenever you discard 1 or more cards during your turn, you select 2. You do deal 2 damage to enemy leader or enemy follower, and that's not once per turn. And of course, it has an evolved form as well. Ooh, another good piece of support is the Steel Cap Pachycephalosaurus. So last word summons a Neteran Great Tree, but on evolve he also has a pretty good effect. Hopefully we pull it. We'll see if that's going to be possible, but this saw a little bit of play in like early 7-cost dragon lists as just like an early game option to answer boards or just to contest boards more so. So let's see if that's going to be the case in English. We have some heroic support as well from set 13. You can see this is the Ice Cyclone. So deals 1 damage to an enemy follower, and if you have another heroic follower in the field, deals 4 instead. And then on the last words, he looks at the top card of the deck. If it's a heroic, you put it to EX area. And it's only a 2-cost 1/4, which is quite good. Mystic Absorption, Resentful Blaze. This is the academic token. So this is the one from Greya. Windfall Fae, Soul Strike, very strong card. 2-cost spell that chooses an enemy follower, deals it 4 damage, and Necrocharge 20 deals 4 to the leader as well, which is pretty easy to accomplish. All right, we have a Howling Conflagration. This card might also be a bit of trauma for the app players from back in the day. You can play it for 2 or play it for 5. So for 2, it deals 3 damage to enemy follower, but if you play it for 5, you search your deck for a Drach and summon it and give it a sail and then shuffle your deck, which is quite strong. Don't get Drach on the back of the pack. We get the evolved form of Belphomet. So he becomes a 6/6 that lets you discard a Machina to summon an Assault Tentacle token, which is a 3-cost 4/2 with Storm. And last words, deal 4 damage to enemy follower when it gets destroyed. And if you pay 2 extra play points, you can banish a Machina token from your EX area to summon another Assault Tentacle. So very aggressive card. He saw a little bit of play here and there, I feel like, but it wasn't too crazy, I feel like. But I'm trying to remember what this meta was in Japan. I feel like Natural Force was doing pretty decently, I remember, because I was playing it quite a bit during the set 12 format. And then set 13 Force was very dominant. Ooh, and also this card, we cannot go without this one. Planetary Fracture, or World End in Japanese. This is one of the banned cards, or not banned, but restricted to 1 cards in this set. So in case you don't know, this card on release in English is restricted to 1. It's been restricted to 1 in Japan for a while too. Why? Because it's an 8-cost that banishes each card on the field and in the EX area. So it's a complete board wipe, and each player banishes the top 10 cards of their deck as well. So you basically get a full board wipe, and then if you play 3 of these, you just deck out your opponent at the same time. So it kind of created a lot of lame decks that were basically just really stall control. And of course, if you're a control fan, you don't have any complaints about that. But personally speaking, can't say I was the biggest fan of this card when it was. I'm going to be honest with you, when World End decks were rampant in Japan, I was not playing in tournaments that much. I would really do not like this card. It's still played as a 1-of in quite a lot of decks, like in Loot Sword and whatnot, but man, I'm not a big fan. All right, last card for the left side of the box. We've already had a lot of legendaries. Ooh, okay. We have a premium Absolute Tolerance. Sadly, not as crazy as it was in the app either. This is definitely a trauma card for app players. So in Evolve, it's a 15-cost 10/10. This card costs 5 less to play if there are no cards on your field, costs 5 less to play if there are 2 other cards or less in your hand, and costs 5 less to play if there are at least 15 cards in your cemetery. So it can become technically a 0-cost 10/10 that on fanfare destroys the enemy follower. But in the app, I believe this had Storm at some point, and then they nerfed to only have Rush, so that was also a thing, I guess. Ooh, Goblin Warpack. That's a pretty interesting card. 2 costs that can only be played if there are at least 3 Goblinoid followers on your field. You select an enemy follower on the field, destroy it, and deal 2 damage to its leader. So you summon a bunch of goblins, play this, pop something, and deal 2 damage to your opponent's leader, which is pretty good. There's a Carbuncle, as you can see on fanfare, just puts the Sparkle token into your EX area, which is nice, and then evolves for 2. To, I believe, give you more of those. I did play this card back in the day as well. Kind of weird to say back in the day. It was a year ago, though, actually, when I think about it. It was actually a year ago when set 12 came out. 13 was somewhere December, January, I feel like. Oh, this was armed support. This card's an armed. Search your deck for an armed spell. Reveal added to your hand. So lets you find dual rage. Pretty good card, honestly. I like armed a lot, so... Oh, and there's also chest support in the same pack. We get a repair mode. Like the tokens didn't necessarily need a reprint, but okay. We have Geno. This is, of course, the 11 support. I think it's the first 11 card we pulled. You can bury 11 follower that costs 3 or less to play this for 1 instead of 4. And it's a 4/3 that on fanfare deals 4 damage to enemy follower as well. So pretty cool card. Ooh, Magnus Zero. Let's go. One of my favorite mechs from Shadowverse in general. Funny little card for Swords. 7 costs 5/5. Originally, this was in Portalcraft in the app. Fanfare banish top 10 of your deck. Deal 5 damage to each enemy leader and enemy follower on the field. If there are at least 20 cards in your banish zone, deal 10 damage instead. If there are at least 30, deal 20 damage instead. So this is just OTKs your opponent. Pretty good in combination with Planetary Fracture. structure as well, because you can banish your field and top of deck, and then you play this, and then, you know, you'll have 20 basically confirmed, if not more. And so that basically gives you 10 damage, and then usually, you know, if you did some chip damage early, then the 10 damage on top of that will usually win the game for you. Ooh, we get Kagero as well. Okay. Kagero is a 2-cost 2/2 that says Necrocharge 10, gets Russian Bane. Fanfare, you choose 1. Select a Soul Strike in your cemetery. That's the spell we looked at earlier, and put it into your EX area. Necrocharge 20 costs 2 less to play this turn. And then the second effect is to bury the top 2 cards of your deck. So early game, you'll be burying, but late game, you play Soul Strike for 0, basically. So very strong card. Kagero is going to be used for a long time as well. So overall, pretty good. We're just over halfway into the box, and we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legendaries. So this would normally be the maximum we would get, including the SL, in a box. So let's see if it really is double of that. But that does mean that maybe we get a second premium gold. Okay, that's actually very appreciated. It's the carbuncle we had earlier. Sarah, Sorcery and Solidarity. Right, this set has a bunch of these the leader spells, basically. This one's a 3-cost that says if you have at least 5 Machina cards in your cemetery, you search your deck for Machina follower that costs 3 or less, and a 1-cost rune spell. Summon the follower and put the spell into your EX area, then shuffle. So it's pretty good. This can find you Tetra, so pretty sure she is a 3-cost. It's been a while. I didn't really play Machina rune too much back in the day either, but these spells of like the leaders from each class on them are all in this set. Some of them are very good. Some of them are kind of okay. The Abyss one is very good. And then the Rune one recently got banned in Japan because of a loop that it created. So that's, you know, we don't tolerate loops. So goodbye. Tree of Wonders, pretty cool card. 2 costs that puts a fairy token into your EX area, and then you can bury to draw 2, but you can only use this if you have 3 Pixie followers in your EX area. So pretty good card, just like dig into your deck. Ooh, Resolve of the Nine-Tailed Fox. All right. Goodbye, Milika. Let's talk about this. So this is the Sekka spell. Lets you choose two effects. It's a 1-cost. Select a Sekka on your field. If there are 9 cards in your banish zone, give it +2/+2 in Storm. You can assume that that's a pretty good effect. And the second one is select a Sekka on the field and an enemy follower in the field. Give the Sekka +2/+2 and deal the second follower damage equal to the first attack. So basically this can give a +4/+4 buff to your Sekka while making her a Storm and also taking out an opponent's follower. So very important spell for Sekka. Let's see if we can pull her down the line as well, because she is very strong and basically was like the only way to play. I mean, it was that, like, before Sekka came out, we had Lydica, but then, like, technically there was a gap between those, but they're in the same set here in, you know, the English version. So I wonder if Lydica will even have a chance to shine. I hope so. She's my favorite forest card. When you're retracing the past, this was a pretty crazy card I remember in the app. In Evolve, it's a 1-cost neutral that selects a follower in your field and gives it last words. Give leader +2 defense and draw a card for the rest of this turn. All right. Arcane Item Shop. This is a very important spell for Rune. 7-cost amulet. Fanfare. If there are no followers in your cemetery, you recover 6 play points. So it's a 1-cost amulet. Whenever you play a rune spell, select enemy leader or enemy follower in the field, deal 2 damage. So you play a bunch of these, and then every time you play a spell, it's like 6 damage to your opponent's leader. It's pretty good. We have Lunes. She's a pretty crazy card. 1 cost, discards 11, searches your deck for a Albert, and adds it to your hand. And then she evolves for 3, and she's also pretty good in Evolve 2. Awaken Gaia, costs 5 less to play for every 5 natural cards in your cemetery, so it can go down to 1 cost, realistically, I guess, but or you only really play it for 1 cost, and it's a 5/5 that destroys enemy follower on the field as well. So, ooh, we have another 2 legendaries. Oh, Lunarian Paladin is in this set, right? This card is crazy for Haven. 2 cost 1/1 with Ward, but on Evolve, you basically summon stuff from the top of your deck. It's very good. Ooh, damn, okay, look at that. Hold up, I'm starting to mix the golds here. We have the Evolved Aria. So she becomes a 4/4 that each Pixie token on your field has Rush, is her first effect. And on Evolve, she searches deck for Pixie Amulet that costs 2 or less and summons it and shuffles. And then in last word, she goes to EX area. So she doesn't actually, unless you banish her, she doesn't disappear. So she can actually search out the Tree of Wonders because that's a Pixie Amulet. And then that lets you dig deeper into your deck. She also searches the Buffing Amulet. I forget the name of it, but there's actually quite a few good targets for her too. They can play as one-ofs and she will just find them for you too, which is quite cool. Ooh, we have the Premium Nano. Would be cool to get a Premium Licia as well. Okay, 3 premiums. Stroke of Conviction. You can engage 2 trees as an additional cost to play this. So normally for 2, you select the enemy follower in the field and up to 1 natural follower in your field. Deal 5 damage to the enemy follower, deal damage to his leader, and give your follower +1/+1. So this does ask you to engage the Natra trees, but I mean, it is basically made for Natra, so it's kind of okay here. And then we have Greya as well to help you draw cards. And if you have 5 academic cards in cemetery, puts the token into EX area and then she can engage herself to also deal 1 damage to the enemy follower in the field. So pretty good. We got so many golds. This is the last pack now coming up, but I do think we're almost double on legendaries, I think, from a regular box. So the pull rates have really increased. I'm pretty happy to see that. Roly-poly, let's go. That's my boy right there. He's a bronze. So he has ward as a 1/3/1 cost, and if you have Enea on your field, when he would take more than 1 damage, it takes 1 instead, which is also quite strong. So it's very hard to clear. And then you can pay 1 to summon him from the cemetery and give him +1 attack, and then on last words he will banish himself. But you can only do this if you have Enea on the board. So he is, you know, Enea's protector, so it does make sense. Bat token reprint, okay. Robo Whip Reverend. Oh, Miriam! Those of you that know should know, but oh yeah, Luna's also on Evolve. Summons an Albert from hand. X equals your max play point. So she evolves for like what, 3 or 4? So basically it's like 4 or 5 costs summon Albert for free. It's pretty good once you're on late game. And then whenever an Albert is put onto your field, you pay 1 to deal 3 damage to enemy followers. So she's quite good, honestly. But Miriam, this is the only Shadowverse card I've ever revealed in my life. So this is the only time that Cygames asked me to reveal a card on my channel for the app Shadowverse. So hopefully one day I get to do a Worlds Beyond reveal. That'd be nice, but I have a very sentimental attachment to this card. But damn, okay, let's take a look at how much we got. I mean, definitely I think we have less, like the variety of common, like silvers and bronzes is definitely a fair bit lower in a sense. I mean, just because there's way more of them. But in terms of golds, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, plus 19, and 20 in terms of the premium golds we got, and we have 1 premium silver, so 3 premiums, so that's already good. So 20 golds if you include the premiums. And then the legendaries, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if you include the Jadelin. So normally it would be 4 to 5, I think it's been 5 as of recent because of the confirmed SL, so 2 more than usual in terms of the legendaries. The split between the sets, we can kind of take a look here. I think we have a pretty even split, but yeah, I think it's like a 4, it's a 3 and a 4 split. 3 and 3 on the legendaries, and then the extra SL is kind of like one or the other. So it is a pretty big increase in the pull rate considering you're paying the same for the box. So I hope that doesn't mean that the price of the cards won't necessarily go up that much. But let's get into the second box and see if that pull rate is reflected or if that first box was a high roll, a low roll. Like you literally cannot tell if it's a high roll or a low roll because you don't know what the expected average is supposed to be, right? So let's take a look and see what we get here. Of course, this is, you know, the first time. You know, you can also check out Ignis and Red Zone Rogues box openings too, because these should be the first box openings that go up for the set in order for you to see what the pull rates are. So let's take a look. First things first, promo pack. What do we have here? Ooh, this peeled open in a very unique way. All right, let's see. What do we have here? It is, oh, Twilight Operedo. Good stuff. This is Lisha's token spell. Lisha, again, as I said before, is one of my favorite Cygames universe characters. So her token spell is a 5 cost that to play this, you have to engage Lisha and Nano. But the Lisha summons the Nano, and then she deals 10 damage to each enemy leader and enemy follower in the field. So it's an AoE 10 damage for 5, which is quite decent. But the UR for Lisha is very nice. I do own the copy in Japanese just because I love the art, and I mean I like Lisha a lot too. Oh my god, a magical squirrel. I feel like it was either Igni or East that had very strong feelings about this card. Springleaf Sprite, this was a good card for Natura for us as well. Puts a tree into your EX area for 1 cost, and when it leaves the field, you put another tree into your EX area. So very good, like, card economy for a 1 cost. Another item shop, okay. Another Lunas. Ooh, a banned card in SL. That's kind of funny. We got a Kagero too, but this is technically a what, silver or bronze, but the leader spells actually come in SL in the set too, and with the unique border. So Rebel Against Fate is a 7 cost that banishes itself, and each player returns their hand and cemetery to their deck, shuffles and draws 5. The next card you play this turn costs 7 less. I think in the next EX area we record with Igni, I'll explain why this card got banned in Japan, so look forward to that. But not a legendary, but it does come in the SL border, which I guess does mean that your legend... Does this eat up a legendary slot? That's what I'm really curious about. Will we only get 6 legendaries in this box, or will these be compensated by a 7th? Chain Lightning, good lull cards. Seal Tome. Let's see. Oh, Jerva. This card is quite good. This was used in 7 cost Dragon for a little bit. When discarded, goes to EX area, has ward as a 9 cost 6/6, so you can play it from your EX area. When you play it, deals 6 damage to each other follower in the field and each enemy leader, so it also deals damage to your followers too. And you can bury this for 3 from your EX area to deal 6 damage to enemy follower, but only do this if you have overflow active. So it can be pretty good if you play something for 7 and have like, 3 or 4 leftover play points. You can then pay 3 to deal 6 to something and take something out that, that way nothing lingers on the board, which is, pretty important in the game of Shadowverse in general. You try to keep the board clear on your opponent's side as much as possible so you don't get a surprise lethal. Gigahand Golem. Let's take a look. Mecha Saw. We have Silver Steel Blader. Ooh, Howling Conflagration. We got a second copy here. Okay, we're seeing all the golds. Ooh, come up as 2s, but we do get the Advanced Sekka. So this is the one that goes into your Evolve deck. So she's a 3 cost 3/3 that on Fanfare chooses 1. You either search your deck for a Resolve of the Nine-Tailed Fox and reveal it, that's the spell we looked at earlier, and add it to your hand and shuffle, or you choose a Resolve of the Nine-Tailed Fox in your cemetery and add it to your hand. So then she goes from 3/3, becomes a 7/7 that can go Storm to face and deal 7 damage to enemy followers. So very strong card. Sekka is definitely one of the best pulls you can get from the set, I would say. So overall, a good one. But let's see what else we can still get in this one. We have Mona, Mecha Book. I've seen these cards before. We get the Premium of Carbuncle, so we got the pre-evolve one, now we get the evolve version. So it puts a sparkle token into your EX area and gives each sparkle token in your EX area cost 2 less to play. So it is a 2 cost in general, so they all become free, which is quite strong, honestly. All right, what else do we have? We have another resolve. That's also pretty good. So far we're seeing a lot of duplicates on the golds so far, at least, but that might also just be because they tried to make sure that the boxes have as many golds as possible. Card form Golem, Pine. I love her art. She is drawn by Gami's artist. I think that's why. All right, it's a silver. There you go. It's a silver, actually. Lunarian Paladin. I want to pull the Evolve form. Okay, but speaking of Evolve forms, we pulled Noin. So this is a very big support for Machina, but also technically for Bats because it gives each 1-cost follower in your field and your EX area +1 attack. So Bats get buffed by that too. But it's also good for just, buffing things for the mono OTK turns. Mono was good for quite a long time. It was still picking up dubs. What was it? Which format was it again? I think it was during the Omen format, if I'm not mistaken. So it was just before, it was set 15 format, I think, where it was still doing quite good. Scale down Plights, Carbuncle. Ooh, Regular. All right. This is the Machina rune support as well. So pull the Evolve form. Okay, so far, halfway into the box, we have 3 legendaries. If you don't count the SL, that is technically not a legendary. So let's see how this goes. Viper Lash. Ooh, Fairy Slugger. Very good card also for Forest. Darkest Desire. I love the art in this card so much. 1-cost token spell that you have to bury 2 followers to play it, but deals 2 damage to each enemy leader and heals your leader 2, which is very strong. Ooh, and we have one of the good leader spells. 1-cost Garnet Waltz. Chooses 1, either deals damage to each enemy leader and 1 damage to your own, or you summon an assembly droid token and you put 1 into your EX area. But if you have mono in your field, you summon the second token instead, which can help you set up for the mono evolve condition. And we have the pre-evolved Arya as well here. Very good stuff. So she is the one that, her evolve form puts her to the EX area, but she cannot be played from the EX area. But she says while she's in your field or EX area, each pixie token follower in your field has rush. It's like a leader effect, or like a what is it now? Crest. In Worlds Beyond. She evolves from 1 into the form that we pulled earlier, but on Fanfare she puts a fairy into her EX area, and again on Last Word she goes to your own EX area too. So very important card for Forest in general, I guess, but for Fairy Forest in particular. We have the Nelsha as well. She's the new Nelsha. Looks at top 5 on Evolve, finds a Forest spell, adds it to your hand, and also lets you bury 1, and the rest goes to the bottom. And on Strike, she lets you choose an enemy follower in the field. If you have 5 different Forest spells in your cemetery, gives them -2/-2, and she gets +2/+2. So it's kind of like the old Nelsha, but evil. Exciting stuff. Let's take a look and see. We still have quite a few more packs. We haven't pulled quite a few things still, I think. Let's take a look. Oh, speaking of which, Albert. We have the 6-cost 3/5 Albert with Storm that lets you bury another 11 follower and select an enemy follower in the field and destroy it as a Fanfare. And when he evolves, he also does similar things. And we're still doubling up on more golds here, but still pulling new legendaries. We haven't doubled up on a single legendary yet, which kind of makes sense, I guess. I wouldn't expect to double up on legendaries when there's this many. All right, let's take a look and see. Edgy elf, though, just like me, bro. Ceres herself, there we go. Bane, 3 cost 1/4. Last Words, deal for 3 damage to enemy follower and 1 cost to evolve. All right, then we have a Tree of Wonders again, Seraphic Blade again, Sarah again, and Fairy Slugger Evolve. So you can see on Evolve, she becomes a 3/3 that puts the Wisp and the Fairy into your EX. And if you have 3 Pixie followers in your EX area, she heals your leader too. So very good card, honestly. Very good, very easy to use, low cost, low commitment. Does eat up 1 slot in your Evolve deck, which is becoming more and more limited with every passing day, I guess. Panther Scout. Oh, Rolla. Right. We still have more Machinas to pull. So she's been quite good after the most recent supports that Haven got in Japan. So there was a 3rd wave of Machina Nitro support. And so this one is Fanfare. She's a 2-cost 2/2. Very important. There's 2-cost Haven in the future. She puts a repair mode into your EX area. And if she was put into the field by an ability, hint, hint, there are ways to do that in this set, she evolves automatically. Otherwise, you pay 2 to evolve her. So very, very good card. She's very key in this like deck in general. So definitely a good one to keep an eye out on and a good pickup if you're a Haven player. All right, last few packs now. Coming down to it. Let's see if we can break the... Ooh, okay, we do get a second SL. That does help with... Okay, so I guess maybe they make sure that you pull an SL legendary that way. So you still get the 7, technically including the SL. So this is the Plesiosaurus. So pretty sure last box we pulled the regular legendary version. So this is the SL version of it as well. That basically does damage. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can we get 1 more legendary? Otherwise, it looks like 7 legendaries is the average that you can expect from a box. Let's take a look and see here. Last chance to get an 8th one. Ivory Sword Dance. Oh, that takes me back. Wow. Shield Guardian. Salvation X Limonia. This card's pretty cool. When playing this card, discard a Heavenly Aegis. Insane text. Costs 2 less to play. Select the Machina follower that costs 3 less in your cemetery and summon it. If it's Limonia, put a repair mode into your EX area. Miriam. And do we still have something? Stroke of Conviction and... Oh, okay. It is 7 legendaries then. All right. So it looks like from both boxes, I forgot how many golds we got in the first one, but let me count this one again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then we got 1, 2 premiums. So 19. In the last box, we had 20 in total. This one has 19. And then we have the SL of the Rebel Against Fate, which is technically not a legendary. So I guess maybe that took up one of the golds. Or gold like premiums. So that's actually not bad. If this is the equivalent of a gold premium slot, then that's actually quite good. And then for the legendaries, we have 7 again, including 1 SL, and the split in terms of 12 versus 13, I think, is more towards 12 this time. So again, we get 3 from 12, 3 from 13, and then the SL is one of the 2 basically. So they try to kind of like evenly split it. So technically you still get less legendaries than you would have had if the set released separately, but because otherwise I would have had to make it be 8 legendaries because it was normally 4 to 5 legendaries, I think, in a normal set. So you do get more legendaries in general, but from each set you get a bit less, if that makes sense. So do with that information what you will. That's all I have to tell you. So once again, that has been the box opening of the combined set of World Reaver's Ascent and Dominion of Darkness. So next time around, they're going to be combining sets 14 and 15. So that's going to be the Paradise set, which of course birthed one of the craziest sword decks in the entire game. It's together with the Omen set, which is one of my favorite sets, of course, because it makes Galmu into a really fun casino deck. So very excited to play with that in English as well. But that has been it for this box opening. Let me know what you think about the set in general, and also what you think about these pull rates and what you're excited to play in the set as well. Of course, there's lots of tournaments going on for Shadowverse Evolve 2, including the BCS circuit and the Grand Showdown. So if you want more information about that, make sure you check out the official socials and the official website for Shadowverse Evolve. With that, that's me for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.